Kia ora koutou, it's Lockie, Kiwi Vegan Grandad. It's been an awfully long time since I've done a video, seems like it. But anyway, I've been busy and now I'm back. So what are we doing today? We're going to bake some bagels. Really easy and really yummy. So first of all, we have 1.5 cups of warm water, not hot. You're going to be putting in a tablespoon of raw sugar or brown sugar, whichever you've got. Just stir that in a bit. Now we're going to put in 3 teaspoons, neat teaspoons of active yeast. The yeast will work with the sugar and become reactivated. Just give that a bit of a stir to get things through. And in about 10 minutes this will be all nice and frothy, and we'll be able to add it into our flour. So I'm just going to get the flour ready now while this is starting to do its stuff. Okay, so we're going to have 4 cups of flour in here. You can use just white flour, that's fine. So I've got some high grade flour here, but I'm going to use some wholemeal flour as well, just to make it slightly healthier. Okay. Right, so that's 4 cups of flour. The high grade flour is great because it's got plenty of protein in it. I'm not really sure about the wholemeal flour, so I'm just going to add a little bit more gluten flour. Same sort of thing that you may use for making seitan, except I'm just going to stick in 1 tablespoon. And we'll also put in 2 teaspoons of salt. You put in less if you don't want it use that much salt. So I'm just going to mix that all in and make a little well in the center. Now, I don't think it's been 10 minutes, but you should be able to see that it's become very frothy, the yeast and water, and we're going to add this in and mix it into the flour. Looks to be a fraction dry, so I'm just going to add in 1 tablespoon of water. And what we're going to do now is knead it for about 5 minutes or so. Right, so that's been about 5 minutes. What we're going to do now is put it back in that bowl, and we're just going to rub it with a little bit of olive oil. and I'm going to cover it with a tea towel and let it sit for about an hour. It's nice and warm in here, so I imagine it should be quite a bit bigger in an hour's time. Cool, see you then. Okay, that's been at least an hour, so it's now time to get that dough out of the container. Right, so we're going to make 8 bagels, and so we're just going to chop it into 8ths. So first halves, then quarters, try and form a ball without making it punching too much the air out, and then a hole in the center. So we've got 8 bagels. I'm just going to leave them there for a little bit. They can rise a wee bit more while I preheat the oven to about 200 degrees centigrade, and also boil up some water because these will need a short boiling as well. So be back in a moment. Okay, so I've got about 7 or 8 cups of water here that I've just boiled, so I'm going to be putting it into a large pot, which is on the stove. So now we have 1/4 cup of the raw sugar, so we're going to be putting that into the water as well. So raw sugar, brown sugar would be fine, anything sugary essentially. Sometimes bagels aren't vegan if they've used honey in the boiling process, but I'm pretty sure that Beam Me Up Bagels, which is a Dunedin bagel company, uses malt extract as their sweetener in the boiling process. Right, so we're going to put the bagels into the hot water, into the boiling water, and cook about a minute on each side. Okay, so we're just going to flip these over. I've had the oven preheating. I've set it at 180 because I've got it on fan. If you're not on fan, then 200 degrees Celsius is what you want. This is the last part, which is when we put the sesame seeds on the bagels. I've got some aquafaba here, so this is just the water that came out of a can of chickpeas that I used, and I saved the water and put it in the fridge. It's good for all sorts of different things. So just giving it a generous coating, and then just some ordinary sesame seeds. So just sprinkling a few on the top, and with luck they will stick to that aquafaba. Aquafaba just means bean water in Italian. Right, ready to go in the oven. Okay, so I'm going to be putting these into the oven now for about 25 minutes, but I will be checking just in case they cook a little bit quicker than that. You'll notice, you'll know when they're cooked because they'll be nice and sort of browned on top. Okay, just keep an eye on the time and come back to it. I'll come back to it in about 15 minutes. Might need to turn the tray around because ovens don't always cook evenly in all parts. Cool. I've just had a sneak peek and I think they are ready. It's taken less than 25 minutes. The oven must be a little bit hotter with the fan. That's why you've got to keep checking, make sure they don't get overcooked. Okay, so there they are. So we'll just let them cool a little bit and then we'll cut them open and have something nice on them. Oh, it's ready to eat now. Bagel was meant to be a little bit denser than other bread, meant to be a bit chewy, so let's just cut it open and see. So you can see it's quite nicely done here. On my bagel here, I'm going to have some of my cream cheese. I've done a recipe for that already. Rather yummy on a bagel. And I'll top it with a little bit of tomato.
Now, as usual, Ākona he reo Māori, or let's learn some Māori language. So here's some kupu hau related to today's video. Porohita, porohita, meaning circle or circular. Kōwhao, kōwhao, which is a hole, as in a hole through something. And ka katikati, ka katikati, which means chewy. Let's make some sentences. Nā, he bagel nei. Nā, he bagel nei. He porohita te āhua me te kōwhao kei Wainganui pū. He porohita te āhua me te kōwhao kei Wainganui pū. He paku ka katikati tēnei paraua. Engari, he reka. He paku ka katikati tēnei paraua. Engari, he reka. Ngā mihi maiuha kia koutou katoa.